Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Team Fortress TV 2. We're bringing you some more of that ETF2L Premiership showdown here between nerdRage and the Germans on Feint. My name is Ire. I'm here with DuMmTm and Rahmed on production. Dum, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. And I mean, you introduced them as the Germans. It always was, well, for the most part in the team's history, a little bit of a technicality. Once again this season, looking to have a big asterisk next to that, because just looking at the lineup playing tonight, I think a lot of people might already be aware of it to some extent. The previous Medics PC kind of gave up existing halfway through the season, so they will have cars working for them tonight. I guess the Netherlands is close enough to being German. Otherwise, it's the same old roster we've seen before, with Voxy and Gazi playing the Scouts, Rising and Fishkop playing Soldier, and Matty being the Brit on Demo Man, as is tradition for the team. Should be interesting. They had like a nail-biter the other day with Ascent to get 4 points out of that one, closely losing out on Product and on Granary, even winning out on Product, getting all 3 points from that. So it was a lot of work for them to get there, but they will do just fine.
Well, I mean, you said very closely on Granary, but it was actually just a bit of a choke from them, I would say.
Yeah. Like they were 2-0 up, right? I think is how the story went. And then they just couldn't finish it off in the end. They just had themselves on last and managed to still lose out on, and I think Uber Advantage hold on second or something like that. Tragic, obviously, ending for them, but still able to come out largely on top and still having the mentality to make it up on the second map. Need to be able to have just as much of strong fortitude on this one here, playing nerdRage. Obviously, a strong roster on paper. Haven't delivered yet. I think they have 2-3 points this season. It's not been pretty for them yet, as a team with high expectations. Obviously, very unfortunate start to the season. Can still finish off strong if they start collecting points now as quickly as they can. They also had a roster shuffles. However, and their medic situation has already been resolved. They lost on the shock and they claimed Mullah as the new medic for the remainder of this season. Certainly a medic that has been shown himself in Premiership a little bit before, so should do just fine. And I mean, there's a lot of Frenchies in Prem. What's one more to up the numbers, right?
I mean, really, indeed. I mean, I apparently Shock busy with uni, according to Elkir, but
according to people I talk to, he's very busy playing Left or Dead.
Well,
I guess that's the only thing he has time for after schoolwork, yeah.
We'll give the formal answer.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, ultimately, schoolwork should have priority, right? That is probably a little bit more important. And yeah, otherwise, nerdRage is the same we've seen before, with Kuno Yeehaw on the Scouts, Josh and Dimul on the Soldiers, Elakur on Demo Man. So now 3 Frenchies on this team, much like Aura Electro as well, actually. Maybe that's a sweet spot, because Aura Electro is still up in first position, playing tonight as well on TFTV 1. The match is happening simultaneously. It's Aura Electro against Swift, I believe it is, on TFTV 1.
It is indeed the Church of Jesunis, as yes. I was told they rebranded to that.
Well, that's like a Condog decision, and as is tradition, you don't have to respect them quite as much as he wants you them to believe, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we have to just see, like, in this game, if nerdRage can just kind of scrape himself onto the board here. They've had convincing losses against Frenchie Swift and that Aura/Jesunis lineup previously in Prem.
Yeah, like 1 point out of the latter 2 of those. And obviously, if they still want to make playoffs, they need to start collecting some W's right here, right now. Starting off with Product, heading into Snakewater afterwards. Let's see which team can come out on top. So far, the only ones largely successful on this map this week or last week even, technically, have been Feint. It's even nerdRage stepped up the game.
And they just, no demo really reviving too much faster than just the typical trading spam, and seeing some high bombs out here from nerdRage, but Dimul going on trading with Rising. But Fishkov gets Mula very early on into the fight, as Cars does actually manage to go down, so it's a 2v2 here on the point. Looking like Kunu going down to Gazi, and just Josh left to be cleaned up. It's a first cap out to the side of Feint.
It might have been a 2v2 in Fury, but in fact it's Gas and Voxy just played this unit there together on point, taking down the Scout very quickly for Soldier to be just left alone against 2 Scouts. Nothing much he can do there. Mid-win for Feint. We'll start the cap a little bit late with how long the fight has been going here, but timer is ticking down for them now, and that's all that matters. That is all the time they need right now. Fishcop bombing it early, getting Yihor cleaned up for it. Still a nice bomb. The rest of the team destroying damage towards all of nerdRage, trying to approach. It's not going pretty for either side yet. 2 down each. Better spawns for the blue side though, and I think nerdRage is well aware of that. Is just trying to stay in on this.
Yeah, nerdRage is just trying to edge the point with Kuno. It's going to be a high bomb coming in from Josh onto the concrete side. We'll pick up Voxy with that. And Gazi going down to a nice pipe from Eliko, trading only Kuno for it. As oh no, but Eliko going down. Yeah, but Kaz will just have to escape with his life as it'll be nerdRage taking back that point.
And just barely with his life as well. Eliko really wanted that man dead. Understandably so. If they get on point with an Uber, they can stay there for so much longer than Feint was managing to do just now, only getting 45 seconds out of this just now, which means also they have this Uber to respond with, and they want to take this fight in aggressively. Kaz going so weak before using, but they will use nonetheless. Mullah, however, not so much in pressure just yet. Will have to use so much later. They did drop Josh for this decision, but they can just chase so much deeper. Kaz going down straight away. They just need to wait for people in the back lanes for the sack wave to happen.
Just a little bit of a bump onto Mullah, but very good from Yihor just there to trade up. And yeah, the last remaining sack play in Maddie gonna be traded out. Foxy playing a bit of ring around the rosy, hiding in house, but Yihor, he's not playing games here.
Yeah, that was just not the greatest sack play for the thing. They just didn't do it together enough. Didn't maybe realize where Mullah was in time. Late attempt to order, oftentimes a very sketchy decision. At the moment, the only one getting through is Gazi, but he walks over Eliko like it's nothing. Cleaned up for it maybe, but that's nothing on Cliff, and all of nerdRage falling back. Sack already by Maddie, not getting much out of it. Way ahead of time for the rest of the team to help them out with. They still try to put on the pressure. Once again, they have the fastest spawn, so it's basically the same spawn time for both. That moment here, Sack's coming in, Boxy gets one big bomb by Rising as well, claiming the medic. They will lose their players for that as well, but now with heals, they just need to protect the castle being Kaz here.
Yeah, it was a nice little echelon to, I believe that was Demul as well, from Rising, but, you know. It's just Yihor getting traded up by Gazi here, and Josh is in behind on that left side, but does get sniffed out by Fishkov, and we're going to be losing that 1v1 eventually. Gazi had to come back to clean him up.
Ooh, Uber coming out of this as well. Really late decision to use it. They really need to chase all the way deep into spawn, and it will not be enough. They claim Yihor, but that's little consequence for the blue team being just so far away from on playing in point right now. They can afford to wait for a spawner here. Maybe wait for Uber as well if they really need to, but with Foxy going down already and Fish awfully out of position, maybe they don't even need to do just that. Doubleman forced back as well by Demul on Cliff, and that's both left and right side covered just fine for nerdRage to start playing towards points before the scouts even spawn. nerdRage has just everything under lockdown, it seems, and Feint slowly but surely give up all the space. Maddie with a little bit of a different idea. He still wants to throw damage towards point, but will it work out? Not looking likely, so they decide to make it a sack wave instead. Very weird decision, but it gets results. It gets the force out.
Yeah, really lucky that they did manage to get the force there onto Mullah. That was a, I didn't see if it was a force, but that was a very sketchy decision from Feint to just pop there. Mullah was so far out already.
Oh no, oh you mean way earlier, yeah, I don't think they did get force. Kaz took no damage. Guys still in here, somehow managed to get into the backline. I mean, they make it fairly even after all. I mean, they have Uber now, and it's barely a time lead for nerdRage at all. As long as this push is good now, it's probably fine. That it was a little bit sketchy beforehand, starting to play cap already, trying to get the cap time early. A lot of damage still coming their way, a lot of resistance by nerdRage. They want them to use this Uber.
It's just Feint, you know, muscling out nerdRage with slight advantage there. Josh will pick up Fishkov, but it's of no consequence at the moment, as they did manage to pick up the cap on the side of Feint. As just spam being traded, no one really going for bombs or sacks. Just, I was waiting for
nerdRage almost has, so they're just waiting a few seconds here to get this Uber up and running. No need to sack when you can just pop through anyway. Lots of damage, like he said, getting Maddie weak, getting Rising weak, a nice little bit of damage to the cast as well. Gets Feint a little bit uncomfortable. They will decide to pop over point, but straight into Mullah, so fairly even exchange right now. Still slightly better for the side of nerdRage, and they want to go deep with this one.
Yeah, slightly better for nerdRage, but some flashes will make it about even. But it's the frags going the way of nerdRage. Fishkov and Gazi go down, and it's just an attempt for salvage here from Feint, and it's just going to be Kaz having to get out just barely with Foxy.
Alright, this will work out for nerdRage just nicely. They might not have a good add-on point, but it's getting closer and closer to overtime, so staying on point right now is becoming more and more important by every second passing. They will be gladly staying here, just build away on the Uber and deal with whatever is coming. Feint approaching point already. Sponsor up, the bombs are coming in. Soldier going behind, the rest of the team trying to also get in from the right side. Gazi also disappearing into the sidelines, and Demol gets caught in the crossfire.
It's Demol, and then now Yeehaw going down. It's only Voxy traded, but Gazi gets Eloco, and that's nerdRage. They just have to leave here. And actually denied overtime as well. That could be very big if we see this point traded again.
Yeah, the Skyboat's Rising of the Claims Kuno at the end of that. Not like the biggest deal. They will have time to wait for that, just barely, even with this little time left here. But it basically comes down to this fight, and nerdRage have a tiny advantage in that they will be able to have a few more seconds to spare here.
Oh yeah, so it's a Koth pop out from the side of Feint, just exchanging on this point. Ever so slight,
they made them kite the Uber for so long, and nerdRage cannot get back in on point in time without either having flash people on it or people from the flank trying to get past the Uber. That was really nicely done. A Uber exchange with just barely any time left to do it on 4 Feint, and they will be able to claim the first round just barely.
Yeah, definitely no decisive victories here, and Feint looked like they could have maybe dropped that a couple times, but some good plays coming out from the players as we head into this second round here. As it's big rushing through the connector side for Feint, but they're all going down. Fishcup cause rising, Gazi all down, the nerdRage machine on this mid. It's a wipe from the side of Feint.
You talk no decisive results, but that certainly is one. And I guess for clarification as well, I guess you did watch, and you were watching a game last week, but for anyone that's newer to the scene, or otherwise maybe Americans as well, the rule set here is first to 3 to win the map, and if it's a 2-2 going to the final round, the loser still gets 1 point at the end, is how this will work out. For now, it's an attempt to forward hold and an attempt to go through cliff for Feint. Not going well. Eloco with a bunch of damage, just got to clean up as well. 2 kills straight away, will not let anyone get out just yet, and forward holds have been, over the years, obviously become a fairly standard thing in the meta game here on Product, and the better your team is, the more likely it is to see this happen here, and nerdRage executing just nicely right now.
Yeah, it'll be just trying to once again force with us, losing Gazi early, now rising down. It's just Sackwave, and they will manage to get the force with the 4-man, so it's just Kyle's gonna be building up this Uber ad with Voxy and Spawn, and just waiting for spawners on the side of Feint to try and break through this forward hold. Preferably for them without using, but we'll have to see.
Obviously nerdRage certainly is looking for just that, pop out early and Demol close, Evo close with that as well. It's a 1-for-1 exchange, and everyone's so weak in main. Cast will have to use here eventually. Josh going down, the rest of them trying to see if there has any other kills to get, but nerdRage well out of there in time.
Yeah, Mula really well positioned, just getting out as soon as that Uber was pumped, and they only lose 2 for the force, which they will take every day of the week. It'll be Uber ad in the hands of Mula now, as Eloco is just kind of on a solo mission over here by Dogbread. Careful not to go down, he will back off of it as Yeehaw loses his life to Voxy.
Alright, well he had Yeehaw to play with as well. It was like way deep there, but it will not work out for Eva Scott. Actually Kulu dying just the same as Yeehaw did just a few seconds ago. The Uber comes out early, forced onto Mula. They try to chase deep Eloco. Most notably, second soldier in as well. They really need this medic, but they're getting blocked off the entrance into spawn. One last ditch effort for Demol. He gets through just about, gets cast in the end. 3 down for that is certainly worth it if it means they can just repush quickly next time.
Yeah, it's a valiant attempt from Fishcuff to try and keep Kaz alive there, but Demol just with that clutch rocket right at the end of the fight will claim the life of the Feint medic.
Alright, there we go. nerdRage now with Uber ad. No Uber just yet though, which might matter towards point. Wide open for them for the taking at the very least. Nothing really in terms of any fight back with Feint. Until now, once again a quick sack with not wasting any time here. Good damage on Sunda already, but only claiming everyone in front of him. Everyone's trying to get through here. One last effort by Fishcup. The saw comes out from Mula, I think, for a second there, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the team is there to save him either way. So not successful Sackwave necessarily, but they claimed a lot of kills, and with better spawns, that might just be good enough to force them out with cap time here next time around. They're actually in already.
I mean, yeah, that is Koth, you know, the team with the point will spawn latest, so giving that the 3 players from Feint will come in as we're just seeing an Uber exchange, or not an exchange, it's a pop out from Mula, but not getting a single frag with that Uber. That's very rough.
I mean, that's exactly what Feint was looking for. They might still get the cap on nerdRage, and they're best off trying to keep this one for as long as possible. Josh going deep, not claiming any kills of that though. Cast still alive, mostly healthy. Some routers connecting, but I mean, the Medic's still alive, and you are still waiting to be popped as they come towards point. Starting to hit the camping. The traps are still here, getting spotted though. nerdRage fighting back though. They're throwing damage over point. They don't try to make this easy at all. But slowly but surely, this cap is getting more and more for Feint.
Yeah, Feint just barely edging that point. Good spam from Eloquo, just keeping them off of it for the time being. But you think it will eventually trade hands, but it's just a really good coordinated spam from nerdRage. Still just barely a cap out from Feint, but crucially not getting forced here, so it'll probably be...
Oh, sorry to interrupt, but anyway, all I wanted to say is that it wasted so much time. By the time they cap, Bula immediately has the Eve already, so this wasted a nice amount of time for nerdRage to immediately start taking a fight. Last exchange for them was actually really good. This time around, much less aggressive one, but Foxy still gets dropped anyway.
I was a little surprised that the cars actually goes down to a nice rocket from DuMmTm, losing a lot for it, but I don't think he'll care too much, as it's going to be crucially Rising just getting the frag onto Mula, but the rest of Feint going down for it. So a nice salvage there from Rising, but it'll still be the point going back the way of nerdRage.
Delaying the cap here as well. Nice decision to just get Mula and Elaku up as quickly as possible. So Feint will have to deal with not quite as much advantage as it could have been here. And with the situation on the timer as well, that is maybe just bad enough for them to not be able to come back here right now. Only 20 seconds left for nerdRage to stall down here. Can afford to give up the timer or the point a little bit here to just re-push if they need to. Let's see what they opt to do with this.
Yes, he has big damage in the initial fight onto Vox. He has to avoid getting dropped early there, but he will just back off getting heals. And it's a good one from Feint so far, just muscling their way across the point. They have a lot of space, but they're not getting much done with it. DuMmTm and Rising will trade lives, but it's a cap back the way of Feint. They have a minute to burn, as Rich just need to cap once.
It's gonna be tough. Diva actually comes in, only Mula goes down. Really close call there for Feint to get that, but it just about works. This might just win them the game. I was about to say, the longer this takes, the better for nerdRage. They can afford to trade once in like any messy fight and be able to get better spawns out of this, but not like this maybe. Now it's like so much time wasted, no Uber to use as well for nerdRage to do this with, and much less time to use as well in terms of using these better respawns here. This will be tough for them now on the blue team.
Yeah, I don't think nerdRage expected the pop in there, and it was super nice from Voxy to clean up Mula just before he managed to get that Uber charge up, but nerdRage obviously going to be trying to muscle their way back in on point, and they have a fair amount of cap tap and positioning, but they are going down here. Mula, Josh, Yeeha, DuMmTm, all down to Feint, and with only Eloquo left, it's looking like a second round of the Germans.
Once again, double overtime, but Feint plays this overtime really, really well. Like you said, like really sudden pop by Cars onto Voxy to just surprise nerdRage completely. Brought this like 50 seconds time left scenario that is just difficult to do for the team on point in that position. So much more into a favorable position for Feint, and nerdRage needs something on the board. Feint already secured 1 point with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like these rounds aren't close, they're just on a knife's edge, but it's just always going the way of Feint seemingly is. We're gonna see a high bomb over here behind again from Fishkoff, see if he can find anything, because Voxy and Cars go down very early on in that mid. Maddie as well. It looks just like it's gonna have to be a salvage here in back lines for Fishkoff, but only picking up DuMmTm, not gonna be anything of consequence for the side of Feint, as again, the first cap going the way of nerdRage.
Yeah, if anything, these mid-fights, Jordan, if they can play by the books, nerdRage is very much able to do exactly what they want to do here. The forward hold also wasted a good bit of time earlier. Let's see if Feint deals with it quicker this time. Not so much. Josh actually just gets popped on all the way deep. They won Cast, but good serve back to spawn keeps him alive. Not so much more his team. Everyone just awkwardly stuck here. Gazzy in the backlands, I think, was a little bit of a threat to Mula, but they spot that well out of time on nerdRage, and nothing much will happen. So just an aggressive forward hold. Sometimes just what you need here, but in this case, Cars might not have gotten much advantage out of it, but at the very least, another dis-ad anymore.
I mean, a lot of Feint dying, but Cars won't really care because he did manage to keep his life. I think nerdRage is just trying to, catch someone off, as Josh will trade with Voxy in a trap there. But, it's the aggressive forward doesn't quite work out for nerdRage, but they won't lose an advantage. Or they'll lose an advantage, but they still will be even-ish.
Yeah, and still has point control most notably as well, while a minute already clocked down here, so nice progress is being made for nerdRage here, certainly getting themselves into a much better position already for the remainder of the round. If they can just deal with this right now, because Feint have, and they don't really respect the Uber on the other side as well with their own in hand, so just come in here, cap some time off, and immediately go for the exchange, hightailing it out of there way quickly though.
I mean, yeah, just no positioning for Feint at this point, just losing players when you can repush. It's a high bomb from Fishcup trying to get onto Mula, gets a ton of damage with the Eloquo, cleaned up by Ryzen, and then Crew, Josh, and Yeehaw also going down. Mula somehow stays alive there, but it's at the cost of the rest of his team.
Yeah, and at the cost of the time on point here right now. Feint finally caps off the point for the first time in this round. Really nice bombs by the soldiers to open up the rest of the team to play aggressive for Feint. nerdRage at least had the foresight to get the medic out in time, like he said. Buddha might not have advantage out of this, but at the least they can go for an exchange much quicker if that wasn't the case. So there's still obviously got a lot of benefits coming out of that early lead here. And now it's just the soldiers' time to try to make a play here. For now, not working too well. Yeehaw with that as well. Claims at least one victim, maybe a second one in the 1v1 with Gazi here in the fight. Will hit the pistol shots just about. Scotland Backlands is really annoying now for Feint to deal with, as if they push on nerdRage, there's just this one player behind at all times they need to be worried about. But Yeehaw reveals themselves early, tries to take the fight, but Boxy will win that.
Yeah, I tried to 1v1 a 185 scout. That doesn't generally go well. As Eloquo hits a really nice pipe across the point to clean up Maddie. And it's going to be the exchange out here just on these scouts. I think it's about the same for everyone, so it will just be Feint running away with that, letting nerdRage cap up.
Yeah, playing it safe and getting at the very least everybody out alive at the cost of the point. It's still a good advantage for nerdRage. That first minute of the forward hold paying off quite a bit already here. Feint just looking to see if they can get any damage in any capacity, but so far just being very hesitant about it. Cast taking a lot of damage for this well. Bomb by Josh, scouts close, and there's so much damage cast with Yeehaw on his tail, and that should just be a kill onto the medic. Yeehaw misses one, misses two, misses not the third one, finally claims the victim, but the sack wave on the other side for Feint instantaneously the moment that happened as well. Kills pretty much everything else, and sure they might have lost their medic, but they will get the point out of that happening.
I mean, yeah, it was just a bit of a crumble there from the rest of nerdRage as the rest of their team does give a sack. It's a clutch double for Yeehaw, actually. Cleaning up cars and then just going back to take care of the rest of Feint. But with Mula going down, it's still going to be even for the side of Feint, as they will stall the cap just a little bit to get spawns. Mula actually got very high. I don't know if that was oh no, that was a bomb from Rising, never mind.
No, Rising was like behind them, like the entirety of the time they were capping here. I think what it was a pipe by Maddie just randomly hitting over point. Rising was behind, revealed himself early, went down to Demol, I believe it was. That's one down for Feint straight away. Body blocking Josh and each other there. As bomb from Demol is the one who gets to cast, so weak, barely any health, no one close to him, but they do kill everything else. nerdRage, with so little time left to get here, and a scout in on the medic by Feint will actually just about claim Mula. If they have a chance to come back, this is how they do it.
I don't know how much it's gonna matter. It's only 7 seconds left for the side of Feint, or for the side of nerdRage rather, as they'll just, even if they lose the point, it's not a big deal. You can even see just them try to sack onto cars. Demo will do that, gets cleaned up by Gazi. But
well,
it's
they did
gonna
this
be
with 40 less seconds last time, which obviously is about 40 seconds easier. So a tall order for Feint, like you said. They have a lot of work to do here, but once again, like one or two good plays out of nowhere could just catch nerdRage by surprise enough to win this round. So as much as it's favorable for nerdRage, they need to be both quick and decisive about it.
It's a nice serve from Cars, but we'll get forced in the end. So that's step one here for nerdRage. Get the fort, keeping Mula up. They'll have an Uber advantage and a minute left to make this push happen.
Yeah, let's see if they can. 50 seconds left. It's the same position as last time, except Feint hesitantly deciding to go forward hold. Still not really like super committed about it, but it's what they're opting to do here. 4 right, 2 left on Cliff. That's Gas and Maddie holding this on lockdown right now. nerdRage just needs to get a couple of kills here, and it might just be good enough. Popping through very early, trying to claim anyone they can, but they're so quickly out of there on Feint.
Yeah, I think that was really just the goal from Feint. Pop off that Uber super early for nerdRage, mitigate how much they can get done with it. But no frags changing hands quite yet. Quite a bit of damage being traded though. Josh will trade with Fishcup in the flank. And it's a big bomb from Demul, but going down to trade with Rising. It's a 4v4 here. as nerdRage, they have to battle back. There's only 10 seconds left. And Feint has that Uber.
They have the literal uphill battle here right now, going towards point against this Uber. Spawn's coming up faster, but how much does it matter when you can't shoot anyone in the meantime here? Gazi claims Kudu. Everyone's flooding towards point. They need to on nerdRage, getting at least one kill here. And everyone at the point, but not with much health to do. And here's the Red Soldiers raining down Hellfire. Demo will drop the last survivors.
Demo on 8 HP.
But not good enough, I don't think. Spawns for the scouts will be here, but this cap time is quickly going away, and they need to do this against the demo and scout on heals as well, and they can just stall for time for them to make it difficult as is, and with a pipe in their face, that won't happen. Maddie and Gas clean up the last two, and that's the game going, or the match for map number 1, going to Feint Gaming.
Yeah, 3-0 to Feint, playing those late games so perfectly. And just running back, that was what, a 90-second disadvantage on this map is incredible.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if you compare that to like the mid-fights, right? The mid-fights were really good for nerdRage. They like looked really good when they have the set plays and things like that, and forward hold looked pretty nice as well, but Feint just looks to be like playing a little bit quicker on their feet, it seems, which is on the map, like Product, a lot of, like worth so much for them, so able to claim map number 1 just like that. I don't think that's necessarily indicative of how map 2 will go, though. It will be a much different story for a map like Snakewater, where I think nerdRage's playstyle will be a little bit more favorable for them.
Yeah, obviously Snakewater being a 5CP map is going to be a completely different beast to what we just saw, but I've been told by Rahmed we do have some logs, so I will try to find them. My game is not letting me tab out.
Well, I mean, first things first is unsurprisingly, they actually never went slightly surprising. It depends a little bit on how these games go, but in this case, these demo men just leading the charge for both teams. You can tell by the damage. Fairly so, but the heals as well, taking quite the second most, actually. Not quite the most here, but leading the charge here for the teams. Both LQ and Feint, both actually also involved in all of the sack waves. Sometimes you see people opt the demo man, not the sack, but traditionally, especially towards high level, it's becoming more and more standard to just see 4 people sack and a scout with medic building, so the demo man usually part of these sack waves.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real standouts, I would say, on either side. Like, it's not even like nerdRage are doing badly in the frags department, it's just been Feint edging out these positions.
Yeah, you can just, like, this is what, like, why logs only tell half the story. These numbers are, like, really close, right? But it doesn't mean anything in the end if you just can't finish off these rounds, and the endgame scenarios just was, like, the big factors for Feint every time. It doesn't matter that they had 2 more kills total, it doesn't matter that they had more damage even than Feint in the end. If they just misplay a little bit towards the end of the rounds each time, it just will not be a round win for them in the end. And as close a game as has been on every round, really, if you just cannot finish off the plate in front of you, you will not get the rewards in the end.
Yeah, definitely. It's a little curious that nerdRage were never really able to clean up their holds, because they did so well on these mid-fights and in these forward holds. After that, they were able to run a minute and a half, consecutively off the clock, like I think in both rounds that they did win the mid-fight. So it's very curious that they never managed to seemingly replicate that when they held the point in the future.
One big thing, like I think we mentioned before, was sackways being like really quick, right? Any transition areas where other teams would take a lot of time to like go from plan B to plan C, basically, like, oh wait, they kept a point, let's just heal everybody up, go for sackwave. No, their medic died and everybody was on Vula already. Like, Feint was really quick about that, and it made the disadvantaged positions a lot less bad for them, basically, on Feint Gaming.
Yeah, I don't know if part of that is maybe they just don't have the cohesion yet with Mulan, only a recent roster move, but we saw Cars seemingly fitting in a lot better on this Germans. I believe he did play with them last week. Am I right here?
You mean Cars?
Yeah.
And no, I think last week it was Mulan actually himself on the other side, working for them.
Mulan just really getting around in Prem here.
Well, he was settled with a home now, but it doesn't necessarily brought them success just yet. They might have found a new medic, but not found new success just yet. Snakewater needs to be the difference maker. Half the season is over right now, basically. This needs to turn things around quickly here if they want to have a chance at playoffs. 2 points is just not going to cut it, especially when everybody else is like mighty surprising. Feint had a bad start to the season, relatively speaking. But then you have them obviously winning map number 1 here. You had the Frenchies hugely performing over what people expected them to be able to do. And Virtus Pro also having a fairly respectable performance so far, playing tomorrow, I believe, as well. nerdRage needs to be able to catch up with the rest of them. Coming into this, one of the favorites, even.
Yeah, I think everyone, you look at nerdRage as such an iconic name in TF2. You look at its players; they're all very good, but like just not seemingly being able to perform. Just and especially taking a lot of convincing losses, not even necessarily making them super close.
I don't know about that. I think most of the losses have been close. 2 5-1 games as well in there. Most of the games have been close. This one as well, as much as it was a 3-0, none of these rounds were like super dominating. Even we looked at the logs, right? I mean, everything was like basically dead even as it is. They're just not able to quite get the finishing touches right. And I mean, in the end, that just is so costly for them. And they just need a great start to Snakewater. If the mids from last map are anything to go by, I will be optimistic for them for the start of the game. But if they cannot convert those into rounds, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, I mean, like you've mentioned, yeah, these games have been super close, but if the scoreline isn't equally close, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. They're just not performing to nearly the expectation that I say they would, and equally so, other teams have just been stepping up massively.
Yeah, they need to be able to have the same amount of improvement as everyone else is. Otherwise, they will just be left in the dust. So far, looking a little bit like it. Let's see if they can deliver on map number 2. It's Snakewater, like we said, a whole different story. It's 5CP, not King of the Hill. One of the slower maps, I want to say, in the map pool as well. It's not quite granular, which we had last week, but close enough, I suppose, in pacing oftentimes, with very much difficult to push last point here. So I would not be surprised if we see eventually Dimul, Kuno, maybe Gazi snipe on these like last cellmates as well. Unsurprisingly, not much happened on product. Well, neither of these teams too much favoring that lifestyle too much. Sometimes Dimul, but if nerdRage as a whole is not about that, then obviously that won't happen either.
Yeah, Dimul is up on Sniper, so you are on to something there.
Yeah, see, the obvious assumption is, oh yeah, Kuno Highlander Sniper, but it's usually just Dimul.
Yeah,
2 scouts is just too good.
Yeah. I mean, Scout is the overpowered class, is what I've been told on the forums. Please nerf Scout, Valve.
I remember when the Scout Medic speed buff thing was announced and everybody was afraid. So, I mean, things haven't changed much. In fact, I mean, that kind of just changed it to the better for Scouts, I want to say. To be able to just get in better for the fight. Certainly on a map like Product, also noticeable if the Uber is easier to chase you as well. It's been a few years, so it's not really a matter of adapting to that as much as just executing it every time. Matters for last pushes on maps that can be as big as these as well. If you want to try to chase with an Uber through mid on this map, you're best off trying to do it with a Scout and just the Soldier flash deep to be able to get the damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could also be seeing a better game out here from the soldiers of nerdRage, Josh and DuMmTm. Obviously, on Product, it's hard to say how well they're doing, It's not the best soldier map. You are mostly just kind of sacking repeat. But, we'll maybe see it. I don't know.
I mean, even then, obviously both of them have been around for long enough that they very much are aware how to play those roles, right? And if anything, especially on nerdRage, something that is likely to be seen here with Josh being the leading brawler in the team here, banners not unlikely to be seen on nerdRage's end. And they like to favor those quite a bit, usually more so battalions and conscious out of them. I would not be surprised to see that, but let's see if they can deliver for the mid fights first of all.
Then we're just going to be hopping straight into this one and seeing the rollouts from both these teams. I'm keeping my eye on Maddie here going into this first mid fight on Snake. It's gonna be Elikos arriving just a tad earlier, not really making a big difference. The initial spam trades on this mid as everyone just rolls out to the positions. It's a really fast bomb from Dimul and Josh, getting some crisp rockets onto Mula, but Kars actually goes down as well. It's such a messy fight here, but it's only Gazi left up for Feint, and will go down now.
That was just like frame 1 bombs by Dimul and Josh. They wanted things to die. They got 3 kills among the two of them. Still getting the counterfrags on Feint will hurt a little bit to keep up the momentum, but they will get mid. They likely will get second. They even have the better spawns out of this one, with the rest of them here just coming up already, escorting Mula back to the second point. So this should just be a done deal for 2 points for the price of 1 on nerdRage's end. And this is where things will slow down a little bit. Both medics dying means neither team has Uber now, and who likes taking risks without the beam being able to protect you? So both teams building away, not just on the Ubers, on Feint's end as well on the gun here, trying to hold on to this point as much as they can, make it hard for people to sack, which is likely what we will be seeing shortly here.
I mean, you said that nerdRage needed a good start to this map, and well, that's certainly what they've got here. Yeehaw will get a pick onto Rising, but it's just DuMmTm going in for a counter-sack. Nothing much going on. We'll see if maybe we see DuMmTm spawn on a sniper.
I did like DuMmTm trying to sync bomb the sentry gun after he got skyboxed by it as well, trying to take it down at the very least to make maybe a second sack happening. Not the case, though. Gun will just barely live, and with that, not much happening in terms of anything on that sack. However, DuMmTm will switch off to the sniper. It is unsurprisingly he's the one to pick up the rifle here first for the side of nerdRage. So we'll see how many shots they can land that matter. That's the big one. You can hit a lot of heads. It doesn't matter if none of them die in the end.
Did just fire off a shot in lobby, so Feint, they'll be aware. I assume they had at least a suspicion going beforehand, seeing DuMmTm sack, but will just be him taking a shutter peek for now. No stickies on it, but Soldier soaked up very closely. Not going to be able to find much of anything, as Voxy does actually go down as well, but trades with Yeehaw by the sentry, the 7th man.
And the second trade as well. Fishkopf had a suspicion Josh was there, both clash into each other on lower, and both will go down, so 2 down each. Doesn't really make it much more valuable for your side to go for any sort of claim, especially with the sniper still on the other side. DuMmTm just shutting down so much of the lobby. Rising takes a headshot as well. Not the second one though. Will live just barely, and will be able to stay alive. Aleko actually with DuMmTm still, despite people down, just really aggressively into last, trying to make the angle happen for the sniper, but overextends forwards, gets juggled in, taken down by the scouts, and suddenly they have to hightail it out of there because no sticks are protecting anyone.
Yeah, Aleko just with the overextension, and will be Feint just busting into lobby for the time being. Let's see if they maybe try to get second off of this. They do have a chance, but Foxy going down in that push, the chances are not looking too good as Aleko is already back up. It'll just be Feint backing out to last.
Yeah, it's a difficult push out of last to make happen, especially with only single pick. As good as the demo pick might be, the spawns will be up fairly quickly, and by the time you get on point, you will have a 6v6 fight on your hands once again. So Feint taking the safe approach for now, still having the gun to fall back to as long as they don't let the sidelines happen, but they do! The dispenser's there, but if you're not crouching inside the level 3 dispenser, it will not make a difference, and no one having eyes on the door certainly will not help out the case much either. DuMmTm hitting that one, crucially so, for them to have the lead on the Uber.
Yeah, and they will be using that Ubad straight away through Shutter. Feint going, essentially going down for Feint fairly early on, and Rising as well, going down. It's being played by Kunu, and so much cap already. It feels inevitable for nerdRage here, as it's just the feed to try and block the point, but nothing happening for it. It's the first round for nerdRage here.
Yeah, not even Gazi main classing could stop this push from being a success. They just got so much cap time early. Everyone has to dive onto that, and that's just easy damage for them to take. Even DuMmTm gets a snipe in the end, and that's exactly what you would like to see, pushing in with a sniper like that. So nerdRage going up 1, that's the good start we're speaking of, and another good mid-fight could just extend this lead a little bit further.
Yeah, dude, Aleko getting there again a slight bit earlier than the Maddie, allowing him to land a nice little sticky, but we'll just go down to low and get healed up. As Josh, again, he's going for a fast bomb, not quite as fast as last time, but getting equally denied by Rising. As Yeehaw will trade onto Fishkopf. It's just an awkward spam exchange here. DuMmTm trying to get some nice spam onto Rising. Nice arrow there from Kaz to keep his soldier buddy alive. And it looks like it's Feint just edging out this mid-fight, as the side of nerdRage will leave from Saw.
Yeah, fairly defensive mid-fight. Very few people committed over point, and the ones that did fairly quickly went down to the spawn wave yet again. Rising tries to make some sort of movement over grass, with the rest of the team distracting, but gets caught out early. DuMmTm claims the frag. That's one pig going nerdRage this way, and I don't think it matters too much. At most, I feel like they will sack at least somebody in and not really push with this. Both soldiers already really aggressive towards Kitchen here. That is DuMmTm trying to make the action happen, but no, he gets spotted early. Will not make a sack with it in the end. Actually, never mind. As he sees people fall back, tries again. Voxy still has eyes on Kitchen anyway. Will get spotted early, so yeah. Stalemate will start just like this.
Yeah, I mean, DuMmTm, he tried to get back in, but Foxy is playing the scout class very effectively. Just, you don't bomb into a 185 scout on high ground.
Well, he didn't know any better. He just saw people falling back. He hoped, realistically, to just have both of them back turned to him. And I guess he did, but not the scout. He didn't know about that one, so unlucky opportunity. Second try around for Fish this time around. Straight into everybody, like you said, with scout classes around. As long as they hit their shots, it should be fine. And in this level of play, that's about to be expected, really, more than not.
Well, now it seems like we have a DuMmTm spy play coming in. I don't see quite where he is. He's edging his way through lower right now. Cloaking up, probably going to walk through Kitchen with that. Have to see if he can manage to get anything done.
Alright, you really want to have a little bit of distraction happening with this, not make it obvious that you have to spy play, and obviously make it more easy for the spy as well to get in here in the midst of just people being distracted by shooting other things, right? So, team best of supporting Demo as much as they can here. So far no one's caught suspicion yet, but the less happens for any longer, the more obvious it will be, and people are already a little bit worried about the lack of things happening.
Yeah, I mean, he has managed to get in without getting bumped or spammed, so that's step one for the spy, but it's just not much happening. It's decloaked straight onto Maddie. Actually nearly gets him with the revolver, but Fishcall coming in, saving his demo. And
yeah,
with the no distraction at all made.
Yeah, and with the medic on the shack, it's tough as well to get past that, to somehow get an angle to decloak as well. It's Sutter. So, tough one, tried to get the Demoman, not working out Beavers. Counter-sack by Rising, hits a nice rocket there, hits two. But Demoman class just has a little bit too much health for that to matter. Alico will live, that's the kill onto Rising finally happening as well, and no one else committed. Both teams playing it really safe still.
Yeah, Demul, no sniper coming out, so it's back onto Soldier, back into the stalemate. And nerdRage, you know, they're satisfied, they are up. It is kind of in the remit of Feint to have to push this, although I don't know how much you necessarily want to park the bus with only a 1-0 lead, but it is a lead nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's on Feint right now to really make the action happen, but it's still so much time left, it's not too much pressure just yet. I mean, sooner or later, something will need to happen, otherwise they potentially just use the midpoint as well of the round reset timer. Don't want that to happen, obviously, but even then, until then, it's still another 7 minutes. They have to find something here, and so far they've seemed very content just dealing with the stalemate one step at a time here. Maybe have nerdRage mess up as well as a counter action. Not really the case just yet either. At most, they had the sack in on both Soldier and Spy, and it's really all nerdRage has tried as well. As you said, much less so the priority on them to try to make the action happen here, so it will just be a little bit of a slow game, I would imagine, for a little while longer.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, it's like what a very slow map, almost granary-esque in that sense. You can either have very fast games, very slow games. It just Demul trying to get a bit of spam into Saw, maybe get something onto Mullah, but not getting much. Rising goes for a kind of sack. Well, I say that, but we didn't actually lose anyone on the side of nerdRage, but actually Voxy going down as well. So it's 2 down for the side of nerdRage. Feint can try to make something happen, or for the side of Feint rather.
Yeah, and nerdRage will immediately take a lot of space. 2 down is so much less damage to worry about, so much space for the taking here. Fish still throwing some damage gas, trying to get in the backlines. Working not so well for the German scout, will go down. Fish at least is able to hightail it out of there. That's all she wrote for the midpoint on Feint's end here. They give this one up, well aware of the situation that there's just so many players on blue already taking all the space on mid, unless they want to use with people down, which is also not really a good idea to try to do. Better off just giving up some space here. They finally get some action going on the stalemate here, but it's not what Feint has been looking for. nerdRage gladly takes the slip up on the sack wave.
And I mean, you know, crucially, Car's not having to pop there, so it won't be disastrous or anything. They will just be holding second, but again, when you are down a point, you never want to be in these long, drawn-out stalemates, and especially being back on your own second. We'll see if nerdRage try to initiate anything, if they will just poke through Saw for the time being. Nothing really much happening.
Yeah, once again, it's just the same in reverse right now. I would imagine that most we see is still some single sacks for now. Neither team has been too keen looking to make much more happen here. After a game of product, obviously a big difference in terms of pacing here. Demul the one, once again, trying to get the sack and good damage, but split among 4 people. Will not kill a single one of them. Very unfortunate for the French soldier. And maybe Feint can do something with this, but it's not necessarily making it easy still. Actually, wait, yeah. Josh went down. I didn't even see that.
Well, Josh went down, but traded with Fishcott, so only a 1-player ad and Demul up in 2 seconds. It's not really enough to make work on Feint. Maybe we'll see another counter attack. I say that they will try to just force their way in through Cat. That's Rising, actually getting the force onto Mullah, so very good bomb here.
That was like mostly courtesy of the fact that no one watched Saw at all, so Maddie had just a lot of space to work with to throw damage in on top of the bomb, and that did the trick. Finally, Mulaga had to use here. So, like, one small mistake by nerdRage, we see it on Feint's end, one small mistake cost them a player, in this case it cost them the Uber straight away. And it could be costly now. They really need to force this Uber in some capacity to be able to have a good hold on second, or at least stall this out for as long as possible.
Well, they're set up to do it. Mullah all the way back at Saw. The rest of the players just playing forward for the force. Josh there will manage it. Losing his life to Voxy, but they don't care. They'll just hightail it out, give up mid with this Uber ad on the side of Mullah. I believe that's about a 90 ad, so... will just be the repush straight in from Saw, not even waiting for Josh, as Kuno just clears all that space. And again, it's just the reverse hold of what we saw last time. Cars holding back on mid with his team.
Ooh, but look at the Rising and Gazi. They're both trying to just hope someone overextends into kitchen. Demol sees both of them, though, really well aware of the fact that that could be a thing happening, and it is a active thing. Rising will not even lift the attempt to hold close and get behind like that. So no need to use and no need to stop going now. They get mid, they get a kill. Straight into second for nerdRage, and so little opportunity for Feint to try to hold this. Just immediately in there with the scout Uber.
Gazi nearly getting caught out in lower in Africa, but manages to make it out with his life. But Maddie's still on a 10-second spawn timer. I wonder if nerdRage will try to make something happen, as they are posturing very aggressively on that right side. It's a super high bomb from Josh, but strafing 180 completely there to get onto the point.
They forced the Uber in lobby, and the obvious reaction by Feint was to just try to make the most of it, right? Chase deep into second, but people just backcapped in the same moment. That all happened. Really well done by nerdRage there to make this all fall into place like it did here, and Feint fell for the trap. 2-0 lead for nerdRage. With the pace of the game, that's a dangerous lead already.
Yeah, we are almost nearing the halfway point, 17 minutes remaining. Definitely not out of it on the side of Feint. They have been looking a bit more solid as they regained their composure seemingly. But will just be another really fast bomb from Josh straight into Saw, not finding anything, but still a bit of a thorn on their side. DuMmTm going very low on the kitchen side, but it's Fishkoff Foxy going down. Mula, though, losing his life to Rising. Cars going down to Elikor, so we're seeing a bit of a replay of the first mid, whereas we do see both medics going down, but advantage to nerdRage overall.
Yeah, 4 alive at the end of this, even with very low health, that does not matter. Last man standing is all that matters here, and it's 4 blue players. nerdRage takes the point on mid, takes the point on second, without much resistance. The immediate counter reaction off of Mula dying, getting cars here mattered so much for them to be able to keep this space, as they will take it here. And with how that's been going right now, it's going to be tough for Feint to get out of here, and they've been really reserved in the stalemate so far, but minute by minute, second by second here, they cannot afford to waste much more time to make the comeback happen.
Yeah, I think they're posturing in the lobby, but with the spawners from nerdRage finally arriving, they really can't make that hold sustainably. We'll just back off the last. Gazi is on spy, but I'm assuming just checking, not leaving spawn. But it is no off-classes from the side of nerdRage. And there we go, now he's main-classing.
Gotta make sure that there's nothing funny happening, no spy, no sniper, potentially trying to ruin your attempts to make something happen yourself, and certainly they are. They're not holding back, they're holding close on the lobby, getting Demol early. This was supposed to be just both soldiers getting in, but in the end it's just both of them going down. Gazi will fall in, Pyro actually lower, taken down by the scout, but we claim everything else in the meantime. The hold close onto the wide open door here will work out for Feint, actually really, really fast. The trap's still here, but ooh, pops on Maddie, not a medic. Really lucky that Feint not aware of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was a little curious from nerdRage just to kind of keep trickling into that last after they already lost one. Both those scouts going quite low to the Pyro and lower. But, you know, it was only 1 point loss for them, and again, with that 2-0 lead, they don't really care, as it's the force coming out from cars on second, and just Mulak hiding like a madman, popping so much later.
Can't get out there, yeah, that's really unfortunate for them. And I mean, they kind of had to use it. It's just a matter of can they get any kills now late, but Rising, Gazi, Maddie, all going down. Fishkoff, the last man on the point here, and it's not looking pretty for him. Eva gets stuck between everybody on second, and that's exactly what I expected to see here.
Long spawn's already Josh on the last point, looking to spawn camp Foxy on this heavy. Just, we'll try to do anything we can, but that's a third round away of nerdRage. What a return after getting edged out on product.
Yeah, any passing second, like I mentioned, this is going to be tough on top of Feint. They will have to try to take risk, and that Uber is a huge one, because with no advantages going into second, it's going to be difficult to stay there once these Ubers fade, and it was a much better one for nerdRage for that matter, so easily clean up everything they needed to. Feint crumbling a little bit here, 3 down with half the time left on the map. It's going to be incredibly difficult.
Not impossible, though, as we were just seeing again another fairly slow mid-fight at the very start. Fishkoff going very high, but getting absolutely mulched by Kunu. Trading out his life with Maddie there, but Car's going down and Mula's still staying up, so it's looking, again, very good here on the red verge, but he actually gets caught out in kitchen by Gazi, so it's just a 2v2 on this mid, and actually now a 1v1 in lower, Gazi versus Maddie. And yeah, that's Maddie going down to the pistol of... Oh, that's Yeehaw, actually.
That was a really aggressive mid by Feint, and it didn't quite work out the way they liked it to. So losing the medic early means they had to hightail it into killing the medic here. Eventually get Muda late enough for it to actually be a decent advantage to them, but obviously with Yeehaw being the last man standing, nerdRage will still get the cap here in the end. Means they probably will nicely abuse the little bit of more map control they have here, especially given the lead. Makes it so much harder for Feint to do much of anything with this advantage right now. They still will have to try, and that's a dangerous position to be in. You're forced to take more risk, and the more risk you take, the more easy it will be for nerdRage to find a weakness in what you're doing.
Yeah, nerdRage, they don't even really fear it. They're forward holding with uber disad on this mid fight, so it'll be the poppin' probably soon, very soon from Saw for the side of Feint. Not using quite yet, but it's the bomb from Demul that will confirm the pop, as they do lose Eloquo, but crucially Mula staying alive, so that's all they really care about inside of nerdRage.
Everyone fell back, the Rising still with Yeehaw in front of them. Both of them will die, not what Feint wants to see, because the Uber comes in one way or another. I guess they have to hightail it out in the end. Maybe they do it in time. Demul behind them, but stuck between the Scout and the Soldier will not be able to actually get onto Cars at all. And in the meantime, Voxy's trying to hold up the entirety of nerdRage. Wastes a lot of time living, but just barely needs his team to come in here. Scout finally arriving to the party. Voxy and Getsy together might just be enough to fend them off. Fishkov actually from the side of the choke point as well, and that's all of them deep in the nerdRage going a little bit too deep aggressively there into second, and it will not work out with any kills.
Yeah, great coordination from the Scout combo of Feint to capitalize on that mispositioning from nerdRage, and it looks like we're seeing second given up, which only Demul in the forward spawn on Sniper picking up Foxy, but that should be all. He hasn't backspawned yet, trying to be sneaky, but two soldiers just hugging the door.
Alright, well that's something to be afraid of, I suppose, but sooner or later this captain will run out as long as Cars is fine. No one's with him though, that's just a free bomb for Josh waiting to happen. He was just hoping for that to be the case when nerdRage gave it to him. One pick with no Uber on the blue side might be nice, but with the gun ahead of them for Feint, it's probably not good enough.
Yeah, Sedgwick took a fair bit of damage, but never going down, and now losing Maddie and Gazi. That's a really unfortunate push there for Feint, as it's just gonna be nerdRage just retaking second. Fishkov in behind, getting cleaned up. Rising trying to be sneaky on bats, but yeah, just getting cleaned up as well. That's gonna have to be Feint leaving second, and these minutes, they are painful for Feint.
Yeah, any passing minute, this will be worse and worse for Feint to make a comeback happen. Even if they get around now, they still need another 2 in about 9 minutes time at that rate. So it will be difficult, and it still adds to Muller. Even nerdRage can cover some more distance here to just make any step, and Feint takes all the more painful. The midpoint cap will be really nice for them, and I don't see much resistance here. People throwing in damage, but no one wants to stay on mid. Maddie even staying too long at the end will go down. It's the demo down for the count right now, where it might just matter quite a bit, because with even Ubers with the demo down, nerdRage might just try to be fancy here.
Yeah, the Fishkov also can't really go for force being too low on bats, and only just now getting an arrow. Yeah, it's good spam on the players entering from lower, and it'll be just an exchange, but quite a bit better for the side of Mulan, as it's just going to be Yeehaw and massive bomb from Eloquo picking up Fish and Foxy. Gazi going down as well. Rising did salvage onto Mula, but with Cars staying up, that'll be uber ad, but that might not matter because they're already in on last for the side of nerdRage. Maddie going down, it's the cap up for Kunu. And that's a 4th way of nerdRage.
Yeah, match point it is. nerdRage could just secure the 3-3 tie as it is right here if the mid fight's good, and just clean conversion from that. Very sudden turn of events compared to the first map, but very much nerdRage is playing this really, really well, and it shows that this map suits them so much better.
I mean, yeah, really, what a turnaround after those really bit of a struggle on product, but I hate to call it, but it might just be a bit of garbage time here. But Feint, they're not going to give up too easily. It'll be Maddie picking up Josh, and then Demul Eloquo going down as well, so that's nerdRage exiting this mid. A swift win for the side of Feint, but with Cars going down, it's not going to be a roll into last by any means.
Yeah, there's no wind in these sails for Feint right now. They will cap mid. They don't even have enough opportunity before the spawns kick in to get into second at all. And at the very least, I mean, this might not be over time, but if nerdRage just defends well enough, this is over in Spirit for Feint, and that's a dangerous mindset to get into. They need to at least hope to have a chance, otherwise this is already over before this timer hits 0 even.
Yeah, I've seen some mad comebacks before. Let's see if they have it in them, but that's not a good start. Losing Foxy and Gazi instantly in that. Cars as well going down after the exchange. That is a disaster. Fishkoff in behind, see if he can salvage anything. Going for a back cap play. Maybe the gimmick they need, but Yeehaw is ferocious chasing that flank. But meanwhile, Rising does get 2 on mid down. Alokor and Demul. So maybe a bit of a salvage.
I mean, the backup is still happening, but without a block, it won't matter. And yeah, nerdRage will just get the cap. First things first here. Still, they're fighting back at least. They're coming back into second here. Claiming a kill. Voxy gets one. Fishkoff not so lucky. The backlines will go down. But still, hey, they at least don't lose mid off of this. So, I mean, it did something, I suppose. But that's very little to the fact that they don't even have Uber right now. Actually, never mind. It's Kritzkrieg. So, I mean, realistically, it's basically even any second here. But the surprise factor really has to carry them here.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a really nice sticky from the side of Maddie to catch out this Uber, and actually they'll just Uber in, so no, it will be able to repush this with the full crits and only losing Gazi on the Uber in from nerdRage. That'll be quite good for Feint, but it's all gonna come down to Maddie here.
Let's see if they can deliver. They don't have much more time to do it as well. 7 minutes, 4 rounds. A tough schedule to maintain for Feint if they want to make it happen, and at that point nerdRage is just gonna go in on them instead. Everyone's in, obviously Demul gets the kill, but Josh and Yeehaw also in behind somehow in the midst of all of this.
Oh, that's so tragic. You feel like, every time you feel like Feint are getting a bit of advantage, they're just absolutely getting mulched by nerdRage. Mula went down to about 20 there, but staying alive. You hate to call it, but it's not looking good.
Yeah, but with Uber as well, they will cap mid with no major consequences. Obviously, everything of the fighting happened on their own second. Point cap. Forward spawns are here. They need to be a little bit careful about that, but otherwise they have an Uber to pop as well if it really comes down to it. And if people die here, they might not be up for last.
We have Gazi main classic on second over here. It's the Uber in straight onto count. Maybe trying to get some cheeky air blast denies, but Fishkoff going down as well. It's a cheeky saw out from Mula even, just to secure the advantage even more so. And second will go the way of nerdRage, only Rising, trying to get something out of it. Actually, Foxy getting Mula with that, so it's something, but
it's only car spawning, and that should be curtains for the map. It is. nerdRage will win 5-0 after going 3-0 down on map number 1 on King of the Hill product. Strengths and weaknesses for these teams have been showing. Certainly, both of them having some catching up to do on each other's map wins here.
Yeah, definitely. Is try to find some logs to look at.
What an interesting game. I mentioned, I mean, I was more believing in nerdRage here on map number 2. I didn't expect it to be a 5-0 win for them before it even reached 30-minute mark, so strong comeback for nerdRage. They certainly kept up with their performance and didn't just give up at all, which, I mean, I wouldn't expect them to do anyway, but certainly still a strong return from map number 1 to form.
I mean, definitely, but you see in the logs that just the nerdRage players completely outperforming Feint there. It's really surprising to see, as you said. Like, it's not like nerdRage were out of it on map 1, but it did seem to be Feint, like, very competitive, very even match. So to see it be a complete 5-0 roll here is definitely not what I expected.
Either way, I would just imagine the pace of the game favored them a lot more here, and they certainly delivered on that expectation. So well done to nerdRage, well done still to Feint, obviously, for map number 1. They will go 3-3 in a tie here in the end. And I believe I see a Mr. Yeehaw waiting in the interview me channel, so I guess who needs numbers when you just have the player opinion as well? And let's just get him in here. If he unmutes himself. Anyway, otherwise, I mean, just a strong performance, right? The set plays were well done by nerdRage. The mid-fights were largely great, right? There were a couple of attempts from Feint to play aggressive against it, and it didn't work all too well. In the end, nerdRage is still performing really, really nicely here to make that happen.
We are beasts.
Hi, yo.
Yeah, hi.
How are you doing?
Could be better.
All right, how was the game for you? It obviously was a very different one from map 1 to map 2. How did that went down for you guys? in comparison?
Well, map 1, we lost 3-0 obviously, but I feel like the scoreline doesn't scoreline doesn't show like how close the game actually was. It was very close from my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, at least 2 rounds went down to like double overtime. I mean, ultimately, like if there's anything specifically you would like to change about that game, what would it be, right?
I mean, it wasn't one mistake. It was like multiple off the board I don't know how you say it, across the board. You know.
Very fair.
I feel like we didn't make any major mistakes, but we made some just like one minor mistake lost us each round. You know, just slight misplay of viewers. So I feel like we definitely, I'm going to say I think we should have won that, but I'm biased obviously. So
I mean, that's a very fair opinion. Needless to say, I mean, you want to win. Very obviously so.
Yeah, I'm not trying to discredit Feint because they're a good team, but.
Well, I mean, they've certainly played well on map number 1, but on map number 2 it was a whole different story. You looked like a whole different beast on Snakewater. Is it just like very much a map thing for you guys?
Yeah,
or?
Actually, they're bad. I agree.
No, was it like a map thing, or like what specifically made the change?
It's partly because Koth is kind of weird, It's you play it different, and yeah, I don't know what to say. I feel like the game did not change that much as the score might show from map to map. But I don't know. I don't know what you guys saw from the spec.
Well, mid fight certainly was still in your favor. I think they were on product anyway. Like set plays for you, like looked across the board a little bit better. It just mattered more. I feel like on a map like Snakewater compared to King of Clay. Like you said, it's a whole different beast. Needless to say, I feel like that helped quite a bit. And you guys played the slow game on Snakewater a lot better as well, and just abused the mistake quite a bit. I feel like anyway, something that favored you guys a lot more.
Yeah, this official was really. It was really sad to lose product like that, because we needed to take it 3-1 at least to get the playoffs, I think. So this season's pretty sad because we just made our roster move, and I feel like we're playing better than we have. Everyone's positive.
Oh, you already made the math for playoffs, even.
Sorry.
Did you already make the all the math?
No, I assume it.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm not sure.
I don't know, man. There could still be a chance. Don't tell me the odds, man.
But, well, somebody will at some point, I'm pretty sure. So don't listen to them.
I think it is still possible, but it's unlikely.
Don't listen to the haters, Yeehaw.
But yeah, anyway, I think we had a rough start to the season. Some negativity. Then we got Mueller. He's a great player. We had some positivity going on. We're starting to play really, really well in scrims. They're scrims, lol. But I felt like it was on the uptick, and then but the first part of the season is going to drag us down. So it's a sad story, I think.
Well, it happens to the best of them, unfortunately. Maybe some team dies randomly. Who knows? It might just happen.
It's not out of the question.
Oh well, what's left ahead of for you guys anyway for the rest of the season? Just because you might not make playoffs doesn't mean you can ruin everybody's chances still. So you still have Ascent versus Pro Gagel in this order, and Ascent certainly still has some hope left in them, I think. Virtus Pro kind of, they have 9 points. I think it depends on next week for them. Certainly still some playoffs dreams you can ruin there if you want to. So, I mean, if you can't be happy, you can make other people sad. How does that sound?
I don't know. Don't know what to say to that. You're so cruel.
Taking the nice man approach.
You're a
I like it.
Man.
I like it. Trying to be nice to the rest
we'll
of people.
Totally just wreck some people. I don't even know who would like snipe. Probably Germans, I guess. Or we don't even play them, so I guess it would be Ascent.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Win against them. Yeah, I don't think we can get to playoffs, but we need to get some clean dubs and then some fortunate circumstances. So
maybe some other people choking too. Not out of the question. I mean, not as much in your hands as you probably would like it to be, I would imagine, though. That's unfortunate. Either way, a good game to watch, one way or another. And I guess we can just move over to shoutouts. So if you want to shout anyone out, now's your time.
I feel like we've had the most entertaining games this whole season.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Shout out to my team. They all played I think they all played well today, and they've been playing well, the past couple of weeks, especially past week rather. And shout out to Mueller for coming in on a short-term notice and playing really well. And shout out to Shock.
All right, Ire, do you have anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, I want to shout out UGC Ulti Duo for existing, because if I hadn't had to cast them before this, I probably would have accidentally slept through this game because I thought it was Thursday.
All right, shoutouts to Discord notifications that people ignore. Shoutouts to TF2Pickup.pl for sponsoring me, I guess. And yeah, just shoutouts to both the teams playing. Was a nice one to watch. And tomorrow, as well as Thursday, is one more game each. Tomorrow is Virtus Bro, I think I mentioned, against Ascent EU. So for both of their playoffs chances, that game is highly important, as well as maybe two Yeehaws here as well. So stay tuned for that one tomorrow, as well as another game on Thursday. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.